So I asked a recent question on my social media, and it was along the lines of, what is the secret sauce in business? And I put a really interesting photo of me, edited my face onto a 1950s advert, and put it out there and asked the question, because what I suspect I know what it is, I was really interested in what other people thought. The answers which came back were really cool and really valuable. Things like niching and the layout of your business and your culture and love and empathy and your ability and this long list of things which people were looking to as being the kind of the secret sauce in business. But then I realised I'd actually asked the wrong question. Because a sauce is made from lots of things. It's not just one thing on its own. It's actually made from lots of ingredients. And the question I should have asked is, what do you believe is the secret ingredient in business? Because I think that may have got a whole different response. But possibly not. Possibly it would have got exactly the same response. But for me, that was actually the right question. It was only when I asked the previous question about secret sauce and I looked at the results and I thought about it that I realised that I'd asked the wrong question. But it's cool anyway, because the stuff which people talked about is stuff which any business owner can, to some degree, develop. You know, you can have your biz layout, you can look at your culture, you can look at your ability and your skills. Those are things which any business owner can do. But the one thing which not every business owner can do is be themselves, is be you or me or however it is. That's the secret ingredient to me. That's what I believe is the secret ingredient, is you. Because this is the only thing that other people cannot copy effectively. They can try and be like you, they can try and act like you, but it will never be congruent with who they truly are. But I've talked about being you in your business more, because I think it's something which is really, really important. And I would say certainly in the industries I've been in, it's been very hard to be consistently you. There's been lots of external factors which almost discourage it. And so the next question is, how do you be more you? How do you bring more of you into your business? And I think this starts with values. So values are something I run through with all of my clients. We actually do an exercise where we have a huge list of words. I mean, a proper huge list of words. And that list of words is then distilled down to something much, much smaller. This list of words is 400 or 500 words long, and it's got all kinds of different words and very short phrases in there. And what I encourage my clients to do is go through and distill it down over about a week to 2 weeks, and just take it from being this huge list of words to being 3 or 4 phrases which really encompass their values and who they are as a person. And I've done this myself, and I have 4 values: love, learning, fun and freedom. And the great thing about values is it allows me to not only filter what's coming in from the world, but also to use it as almost like a hat or a coat, as something I can wear when I go out into the world myself, and how I project myself to the world. And I think that when you understand and know your values, and when you're trying to put more of you, that special ingredient, into your business, it really helps to know who you truly are. And really the depth of knowing this is your identity. And there's lots of phrases thrown around like authenticity and being genuine. And to be honest, I struggle with the word authenticity, but it's probably the best word out there. It's about being the authentic you. And this is really important. But why is it important? It's important for many reasons. It's important because it's linked to well-being. When you are being you, when you're in that really comfortable space of being yourself, it's absolute genius. It's a very, very hard place to be, being in that really comfortable space. I, for one, perform better when I am in a space which is comfortable for me. And that's not to say I don't want to push myself outside of that comfort zone, But if I speak at an event and I dress maybe in a different way to how I'd normally dress, I don't feel that I've done the best job in speaking and presenting. So for me, being able to be me in those times is really, really important. The other thing is that when you're being you, you will attract the right people to you. And if you want to attract the right people to your business, you want people who know, like, and trust you, and people who are like you. And the great thing about being you is you also repel those people who aren't like you. And while that might sound like a bloody awful thing to push people away or have people dislike you, in the long run, it's actually really useful. And that's part of the risk. Part of the risk is being disliked. Part of the risk is standing out. Part of the risk is being seen as different. And the inevitable comments and the fact that people will pick up on the fact you're different. And usually when people comment on it, they're commenting because you are showing to them very, very clearly things which they are not doing. And that puts them in an uncomfortable space. And what people do is they have a tendency to attack. They have a tendency to try and knock you down. They have a tendency to try and bring you back down to their level for their comfort. And that should never be a reason. It should never be a reason to avoid being yourself and standing out and just having a really good time being you. And that's part of the risk, being disliked. Putting your head above the parapet, tall poppy syndrome. There is always going to be somebody who sees what you're doing, standing out, being you, as a threat to them. And what they will do is they will try and pull you down to their level. But that's not a reason to avoid being you and injecting huge amounts of your personality into everything you do. But I do appreciate that there is an even bigger barrier to this. And that's the professional barrier. That's the barrier of professionalism. This having to be viewed to behave and work in a particular way. And that barrier of professionalism doesn't really give you much flexibility, which is why when you look out there that a lot of healthcare related businesses all look the same. They're all carbon copies of the same thing. People all aspire to be like other businesses. Instead of looking inwards and looking at what they have to offer, their uniqueness, their individuality, their own personality, and injecting that in. And I struggle with that. And maybe I've always struggled with that. Being in a position where you want to be you, you're encouraged to be you, but the professional environment you're in questions that and suggests that maybe, just maybe, that if you are you, you're not being professional. And to be honest, that's a load of BS. We can be professional and individual. We can bring attention to ourselves by really injecting our personality into our businesses, and we can be professional as well. And to suggest in any way that being ourselves is not professional, for me, is a really dangerous path to tread. Yeah, I know that there are some people out there who are not professional in the least, but on the whole, 99% of the people who I know, who I work with, who are clients of mine, are professional people who are just looking to be themselves. And what I would really love to see is the environment sit back and support them and let them do it, because that would help every part of healthcare. It would help our industry, the foot health industry, to really stand out by being able to balance professionalism and personality all within the same space. But I know this can be done. I know it's going to take time. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be really difficult to be able to bring that professionalism paradigm and narrative against the personality one. But when those two come together, it's a really, really special place. But it starts with you. It starts with you working out your personality, working out what you want to create, and working out how you can communicate your personality and professionalism together in the same space. And if you want some help with that, give me a shout.